Julie and her friends had been planning this getaway for months. A charming countryside Ayrton seemed like the perfect escape from their mundane lives. The anticipation built up as they embarked on the journey, the lush green landscapes gradually giving way to a more isolated and eerie atmosphere. As they arrived at their destination, they were greeted by a Victorian-style mansion. It was both grand and eerie, nestled among towering trees that seemed to obscure the daylight. The owner, a reclusive man named Mr. Thorne, welcomed them with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. His presence was unsettling, but they brushed it off, attributing it to their overactive imaginations. The friends settled in, their laughter and excitement momentarily dispelling the unsettling atmosphere. But as night fell, the mansion took on a new life. Shadows danced on the walls, and creaking floors amplified the silence. That night, they all struggled to sleep, their nerves on edge. In the days that followed, strange occurrences began to unfold. Items moved on their own, whispers echoed through the corridors, and doors opened and closed without explanation. Julie brushed off these incidents, chalking them up to old house quirks. But doubts began to creep in when they stumbled upon a series of newspaper clippings hidden in the attic. The clippings told a chilling story of a series of unsolved murders that had plagued the region a decade ago. Each victim had been found strangled and left with a cryptic symbol carved into their flesh. The more they read, the more they realized the horrifying truth. They were staying in the home of a notorious serial killer. The revelation sent shivers down their spines, casting a cloud of paranoia over their retreat. The once idyllic mansion now felt like a labyrinth of dread. Julie and her friends decided to dig deeper, hoping to uncover more about the enigmatic Mr. Thorne and the truth behind his sinister past. They visited the local library, where they found old police reports and articles that shed light on the investigation. The more they delved into the details, the more they suspected that Mr. Thorne might still be active. The chilling symbols carved into the victims' bodies seemed to match the ones they had glimpsed around the mansion. Julie and her friends grew increasingly fearful, wondering if they were being watched. They couldn't escape the feeling that Mr. Thorne was lurking just out of sight, relishing in their terror. Sleepless nights and paranoid whispers strained their friendships, but they knew they had to confront him. One evening, as a storm raged outside, they confronted Mr. Thorne in the dimly lit drawing room. The air was thick with tension as accusations were hurled and secrets were revealed. Mr. Thorne's smile wavered, and for a moment, they saw a flicker of the darkness within him. Just as they were about to demand answers, the power went out. The room plunged into darkness, and their panicked breaths filled the void. When the lights returned, Mr. Thorne was gone. Frantic, they searched the mansion, finding the hidden passage that led to a basement adorned with disturbing murals. Their horror escalated as they discovered a hidden room filled with news clippings, photographs, and gruesome trophies. Julie and her friends realized they were in a race against time. Mr. Thorne had returned, and he was determined to add them to his collection. As Julie and her friends realized the danger they were in, their fear transformed into determination. They knew they had to escape the mansion and alert the authorities. But the mansion seemed to have a sinister intelligence of its own, thwarting their every move. Every corner they turned seemed to lead them deeper into the labyrinthine mansion. Whispers echoed through the hallways, and the walls seemed to close in on them. Their nerves frayed, but they pressed on, driven by the need to survive. In a desperate attempt to find an exit, they stumbled upon a room that was unlike any other they had seen. It was filled with intricate drawings and writings, a disturbing record of Mr. Thorne's obsession with his victims. As they pored over the details, they realized that they were trapped in a deadly game, a game that only one could win. Time was running out, and they knew they had to confront Mr. Thorne once and for all. Armed with newfound knowledge and determination, they ventured deeper into the mansion, following the clues left behind. The tension escalated as they reached the heart of the mansion, where a macabre scene awaited them. Mr. Thorne stood before them, his eyes gleaming with madness. He revealed that he had been observing them since they arrived, relishing in their fear. He admitted to his crimes, his voice dripping with malevolence, but he had no intention of letting them leave alive. The room felt like a trap, closing in on them, as they realized they had to fight for their lives. A desperate struggle ensued, each friend using their wits and strength to overcome the serial killer. It was a battle of survival, a confrontation between the darkness that had consumed Mr. Thorne and the resilience of Julie and her friends. The mansion seemed to twist and contort around them, becoming a nightmarish battleground. In a final, harrowing showdown, Julie managed to subdue Mr. Thorne and incapacitate him. With the threat neutralized, they contacted the authorities and escaped the mansion, their bodies and minds scared by the horrors they had endured. Months later, Julie and her friends were still haunted by the memories of that fateful retreat. The mansion had been investigated thoroughly, uncovering the extent of Mr. Thorne's crimes. The friends had played a crucial role in bringing the truth to light, but the scars remained. Their bond had been tested, and while they had survived the nightmare, they were forever changed. The mansion was demolished, erasing the physical embodiment of their terror. Yet the shadows of that place lingered in their minds, a reminder that darkness could hide in the most unexpected corners. The events of that retreat serve as a constant reminder that evil could wear a mask of charm and hide in plain sight. Julie and her friends had faced their darkest fears and emerged stronger, but the scars of that experience would forever shape their lives. And so ends the harrowing tale of Julie and her friends' encounter with the serial killer in the eerie Ayrton mansion. They had navigated through a web of fear, deception, and desperation, emerging from the darkness with their lives forever marked by the haunting events that unfolded within those walls. The wind howled outside the old Victorian mansion as Davis stepped through the creaking door, clutching the confirmation printout for his Ayrton reservation. The listing had promised a charming, secluded getaway, but as he entered, a chill ran down his spine that had nothing to do with the weather. The air inside was heavy, suffused with a musty scent that hinted at years of neglect. Dust motes danced in the dim light filtering through the cracked windows, casting eerie shadows on the worn carpet. Davis hesitated but decided to explore further. After all, he'd paid a considerable amount for this escape from the city's chaos. He followed a narrow corridor, his footsteps echoing eerily. It was then that he noticed the first oddity. A faded painting of a stern-faced family hung crookedly on the wall. Davis brushed it off as a quirk of the place and continued his exploration. As he stepped into the living room, he shivered involuntarily. An antique mirror dominated one wall, its tarnished frame seemingly absorbing the room's light. Davis met his own eyes in the reflection, but they seemed different, distant. Shaking off the strange sensation, he reminded himself that he just needed to unwind. The kitchen was a mixture of old and new, with ancient cabinets and modern appliances. But as Davis went to put away his groceries, he noticed the refrigerator held only a single wilting apple. He chuckled nervously, attributing it to an oversight, and focused on preparing dinner. Night fell, casting deeper shadows that seemed to creep toward him. Davis found himself drawn back to the mirror. He stared at his reflection, convinced that something was shifting just beyond his perception. With a sudden surge of unease, he tore his gaze away and retreated to the bedroom. As he lay in bed, the old floorboards seemed to whisper secrets, and the wind carried faint whispers of conversation. Davis tried to reassure himself that it was his imagination, but his thoughts were plagued by the unsettling feeling that he was not alone in the house. The next morning, Davis woke to find the mansion bathed in sunlight, its eerie charm fading in the face of daylight. He chided himself for letting his imagination run wild the previous night and decided to explore the grounds outside. He roamed through overgrown gardens, the colors and fragrances of the flowers offering a welcome distraction. As he wandered, he stumbled upon an old gravestone, the name barely legible after years of weathering. An odd sense of melancholy settled over him as he realized how forgotten this place had become. Later that day, while poring over the history of the mansion, Davis discovered that it had once belonged to the family in the faded painting. The family had mysteriously vanished one night, leaving behind a legacy of whispers and legends. He couldn't help but feel a deep connection to the story. As days turned into weeks, Davis became consumed by the mansion's history. He uncovered fragments of old letters and journals in dusty corners, piecing together the lives of the family that had once inhabited these walls. He began to sense their presence, their joys and sorrows etched into the very fabric of the house. Late one night, drawn back to the mirror, Davis saw shadows flicker within its depths. Whispers seemed to seep from its frame, revealing fragmented memories and unspoken regrets. It was as if the mirror was a portal to the past, allowing him to glimpse the lives of those who had lived here before. With each revelation, Davis felt an increasing urgency to solve the mystery. He uncovered tales of a forbidden love, a tragic accident, and a web of secrets that had torn the family apart. He realized that the mansion held not just history but unfinished business, and he was determined to bring closure. As Davis delved deeper, the mansion seemed to react. Doors slammed shut on their own, drafts whispered forbidden words, and long-forgotten melodies echoed through the halls. Yet he pressed on, determined to unravel the truth and free the restless spirits that seemed to linger. Little did he know that his quest for closure would lead him to confront not only the family's past, but his own demons as well. The mansion, once an unsettling enigma, transformed into a crucible of emotions and revelations. Davis was on the brink of unveiling the ultimate secret, one that would change everything he thought he knew about the mansion, the family, and even himself. As Davis continued his investigation, the mansion seemed to escalate its attempts to communicate. Mysterious symbols appeared on the walls, and faint whispers grew into audible voices, imploring him to remember. Davis became consumed by the need to decipher the cryptic messages and bring closure to the tormented spirits. One stormy night, as lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, Davis finally pieced together the truth. The family's tragic fate was intertwined with a love affair that had been concealed from the world. A web of deceit, jealousy, and betrayal had led to a heart-wrenching accident that had claimed their lives. Staring at the mirror, Davis saw his own reflection slowly merging with those of the long-lost family members. Their voices mingled with his thoughts, urging him to reveal their untold story to the world. He knew he had to make a choice, to keep their secrets buried or to share the truth and release them from their spectral prison. With a resolve born from empathy and understanding, Davis started documenting the family's story. He meticulously researched historical records, piecing together evidence from the past to construct an accurate narrative. The more he wrote, the more the mansion seemed to respond, its unrest subsiding with each revelation. As the story gained attention, historians and paranormal enthusiasts flocked to the mansion. Davis guided them through the house, sharing the history he had uncovered. It was during one of these guided tours that he finally felt the spirit's presence dissipate, as if their souls had found peace. Months passed, and the mansion underwent a transformation. With Davis as its steward, it was restored to its former glory, becoming a historical landmark that welcomed visitors from far and wide. The story of the tragic family became a testament to the power of redemption and the importance of acknowledging the past. In the end, Davis found solace not only for the spirits that had haunted the mansion, but also for himself. Through his determination to uncover the truth and his commitment to honoring the past, he had not only rewritten the history of the mansion, but also his own destiny. As he stood on the mansion's porch one clear night, gazing up at the stars, Davis knew that he had fulfilled a purpose greater than he could have ever imagined. The mansion was no longer a place of fear and mystery, but a beacon of hope and resilience, a testament to the enduring power of human connection and the stories that bind us across time. And so, as the winds whispered through the trees and the old Victorian mansion stood as a silent witness to the ages, Davis smiled, content in the knowledge that he had turned an unsettling Erm experience into a tale of redemption and unity that would echo through generations to come.